Um, uh, Aseres B'nei Tshuva, a lot of people do a lot of things to look firmer than they might actually be, and I think we have a big problem of whether we're genuine. We think about this a lot. There's a Jerry Seinfeld routine where he talks about evening guy and morning guy, and how evening guy stays up late and totally throws morning guy under the bus. The morning guy has to wake up and go to work, and so you're the same person, but you're two different people. Kendrick Lamar pointed out the problem that we have, which is when he opens up songs saying, "I'm a sinner who's probably going to sin again. Lord, forgive me for things I don't understand." So if you think you're going to sin again, then aren't you lying? And who are you really? Are you yourself when you're making all these big promises, or are you yourself from the rest of the year? Who's the real you? So there's this idea in Chazal that ein adam over avera, so the daf gimel, elim kein nichnas bo ruach shtus. A person isn't going to do a chet unless some stupidity or some shtus, whatever, enters his mind. Shtus is the best translation for shtus. That's how it is. And basically everyone kind of brings this down. The Orach Chaim says, even talks about maybe you shouldn't even be chayiv totally for your chet, because the person who did the chet, it wasn't morning guy, it was night guy, right? It was the other me. It was me under the influence of the Yetzer Hara. Right? He says, Ki basoso hachet lo haya daiso shalim. When he did the chet, his das wasn't fully there. And so why should he be responsible? And then we kind of have the opposite thing where during the Aseres B'nei Tshuva, during Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, we become like, we make all these commitments and we actually do tshuva, even though it might not last a long time. So who's right? Who are you? Are you the you who says you're going to do chataim, or are you the you who does chataim, or are you the you who says you're not going to do chataim, who does tshuva, who comes right out of Yom Kippur pumped up and I'm never going to sin again? So who are you? Since I only have one more minute, skip a couple things.
So far you're saying good.
I'm saying good? Okay. Mo's done already. Okay, well, I'll just bring some provocative midrashim on this point. So, here's a crazy medrash. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak b'shasha Asu Yisrael oso ma'isa bikesh l'chalos soneim. Right. So when Bnei Yisrael did the Egel Zav, Hashem wanted to destroy Bnei Yisrael. Amar Moshe ha'egel is tofu l'sayochai. So Moshe says, this is a great egel. It can help you out, Hashem. Amar le'Kadosh Baruch Hu ma misayeli. Hashem's like, how could the egel help me? Amar le Moshe atam morid geshamim v'hu morid tulalim. Hashem can bring the rain, and the egel can bring the dew. Perfect. He'll be the sidekick. The egel's av. Atam motzias aruchos u'motzias ananim. So Hashem's going to bring out the winds, and the egel's av is going to bring out the clouds. It'll help out. So Amar le Moshe avata toa be'egel. So Hashem's like, Moshe, you're also not like understanding, and you're also falling for the egel. How's that possible? So Amar Moshe Ribono shel olam. So Moshe's like, well, if I am nichshol with the egel, then, and Bnei Yisrael are also nichshol with the egel, you got to forgive them, because it's pretty easy to mess this up, because we can all fall under these crazy influences, even Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rabbi Lamb says about this medrash. He says Moses, according to the rabbis, is introducing at this crucial juncture of Israel's history a redemptive touch of humor. There's a twinkle that glistens in the tears of Moshe's eyes as he addresses the Holy One. His argument before the Lord is one which brings out the sense of the absurd in both sin and punishment. Not absurd in the sense of the ultimate meaninglessness of life or the rationality of existence, of its broken and fragmented and tragic nature, rather, in an exquisite merging of humor and grief. He exposes the absurdity of sin and absurdity of punishment in another sense. The point of Moses, as the rabbis elaborated, is not confident in the incident of the calf. Is not confined to the incident of the calf. It is well nigh, I don't know what that means, universal. All sin is bizarre, ludicrous, ridiculous. Whenever we place our ultimate faith in anything or anyone but God, we are simply being foolish. So I used to always think there's just like something like teachers, parents tell you like you're being stupid doing this thing, you shouldn't be doing the thing. But it seems like Chazal really think that it's stupid to sin. Some of the people bring that point out that in Kohelet the sinners are called ksilim, which basically means idiots, right? That people are really making a mistake and they're in a different state when they're doing all this stuff. And so I maybe we really aren't the people we want to be when we're sinning. Maybe halacha l'maisa example of this kind of. I think Rambam Hilchos Kriyas Shema Perek Aleph Halacha Yud Bet. Don't quote me on that. Talks about how your ones if you miss Kriyas Shema because you're drunk, and all the Nosei Kelim have a hard time with that. But once you're in this state, you're ones, you're basically pater from Kriyas Shema when you're in a different state. Like, why shouldn't you be held accountable? The Orach Chaim that I quoted earlier says maybe you should be accountable for putting yourself in that state, but the actual thing you do, how can you be accountable? So maybe I'll finish with something that the Rav says, which is that without human need, prayer would be an impossibility. Why is man in constant need? Because he is vulnerable. Why should I petition God for healing? I don't need any medical help, but I know not how I will feel 5 minutes hence. So something about humans that makes us different from God is that we go through time in a linear way, and we really are going to be different people a month from now, a day from now, a minute from now. And if we commit to something right now, that really can be who we are. And so rather than, Mishnah says in Yuma, Perek Chet, Mishnah Tet, someone says, I'm going to sin and do tshuva, I'm going to sin, do tshuva, ein masvikim biado lasas tshuva. We don't let him do tshuva. Why? Because he's not holding like Kendrick Lamar. He's saying, I'm going to sin and then I'm going to do tshuva. And to say that, the moment you say that, you're not planning on being a better person. But if you're Kendrick Lamar and you say, I'm a sinner who's probably going to sin again, right? You're saying, I'm human, but right now, I'm doing tshuva. And right now, I'm doing what I can be, what I can do, and I'm being who I can be. And that really can be who you are, even if at a different time in your life, you will get to a different place, or you might even expect to be in a different place. So I just want to finish by saying maybe the highest expression of who you really are is who you think you want to be when you take a step back and say, I want to be this person. And if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. But when we're thinking deeply, that's when we're thinking deeply. Let's not pretend like when we're thinking stupidly, when we're thinking shtus, that's who we are. So I just want to